we've got like 6 calls in the queue, so we got to hurry up and jump right in. Are you guys ready?
Yes, I'm so excited.
All right, I'm going to bring on your first caller, and I'm going to get out of here. Russell, you are on with BrainBug and Genevieve. How you doing?
Oh, for me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm doing
Hi,
great.
Russell. Yep, I'm BrainBug. This is Genevieve, and we're looking at your the Amazon article for your book, the description, and very excited to talk to you about some of the stuff that you're going to go over here. So you have a Bigfoot belief that's kind of metaphysical, is that right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that they were metaphysical at first. And by the way, I started out, I searched for 4 years and found nothing. So I was just about to give up when all of a sudden they started to show up everywhere.
Oh.
And so that in itself made me a little suspicious, because no evidence. And then all of a sudden they're everywhere.
Well, what kind of evidence were they leaving? Did you say no evidence? No evidence.
They've left me gifts. The first gift they left me was a pretty good size, maybe 2 fist sized heart-shaped yellow crystal that they left right in the middle of the trail. They knew I was coming. So that was the first one. Although that may not have been the first one, because I did find decades ago, I found an artifact that washed out of an embankment. And on that artifact was carved a flying saucer with 2 planets, glowing figure, a couple faces, moose, sleeping wolf. Some people call it a story stone. And I've also heard it called a shaman stone, which is what I kind of think it is.
How big is your shaman stone? Just so we can get an idea of what it looks like in our minds.
Okay, it's a crystal inside of an agate, which is pretty unusual. And the agate part is shaped like a ghostly form, like if you threw a sheet over somebody. And then they've got these rays that they carved out around that form. So to me, it's a glowing form. So it fits inside the palm of my hand, and it actually has a slot for the finger. And it's meant to be held in the right hand. So I figure, the shaman was right-handed, or whoever carved it. And it's hard to say how old it is because we don't have moose around here anymore. But there was also a whale and perhaps a jellyfish or something like that also carved on it. So I'm thinking it's possible that it's thousands of years old. I know that it probably would.
Have you had an archaeologist, or have you had an archaeologist or anyone look at it? Took it to a museum, maybe?
Yeah. No. And the thing is the reason for that is I know it was meant for me, after all this other stuff that happened. And also it's a very powerful tool. The first time I meditated with it, something jumped out of it and knocked over a piece of furniture. So
something jumped out of the stone?
Yeah. Some sort of shadowy form.
Okay. But
I had my eyes closed at the time. So I didn't really see it except in my third eye.
Oh, so your eyes were closed and you kind of just sensed, or you say with your third eye. That's a whole different route that we could take our conversation down. But let's focus out here where things are interacting with the real world, where we can kind of look at how they interact with things and maybe what evidence there might be of that interaction. Sure. Yeah. And it's just that it's things we can't verify what happens in your mind's eye and whatnot. There's no way for us to test that. But
for sure.
These other things,
I understand that.
Like Bigfoot and UFOs, and I think did I see something in the book review here about portals, like interdimensional portals? Maybe is that
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's essentially, I've been guided to this kind of information. They wanted me to study vortex fields and magnetism, and it's all leading to portals. A few years back, after reading a book called The Golden Vortex, which is essentially about vortex fields by Nick Nelson, I'm driving down a country road and I see a bear. And it crosses in front of me, so I brake. You know, I don't want to hit the bear. And it leaps as if it's going to leap onto the embankment on the other side of the road. Well, actually, on my side of the road. But anyway, it leaped and then just disappeared through an invisible door. It just disappeared. I don't know how they arranged that. I stopped right where it disappeared, and I looked, and I couldn't see any sign of a portal at all, but it definitely was there, and I wasn't going to get out of my car and check it out. So that's one incident of a portal, and that happened right on a regional demarcation line for a regional vortex field that Nick Nelson had charted in his book. And I got home and I looked in his book, and sure enough, it was right there, and I thought, wow. So they wanted me to pay attention to that. That's kind of how they get me messages.
So are you talking about like ley lines kind of, where they're points where, because you're talking about mapping it out and everything. Okay. And you said it's Nick Nelson, The Golden Vortex.
Yeah, that's the name of the book. And it's just a brilliant book. I've read it 3 times. It's kind of my Bible when it comes to vortex fields. Because he studied magnetism from, the time he was a young guy. He was fascinated by magnets and learned a lot about magnets, more than possibly anybody.
So we think that these vortexes, these portals, are magnetic. Is that based on Nelson's book, or is that something you've come up with?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. It's kind of weird because a vortex, like my friend Joe Hauser owns the Montana Vortex and House of Mystery in Montana, just outside of Glacier National Park there a little bit. And he says that a vortex is basically like a magnet, yet magnets or even compasses don't react to it, which is kind of strange. But I got a theory on that. But yeah, I'm thinking that a portal is a magnet on end. There at the Montana Vortex, it's the negative end of the magnet sticking up out of, or sticking out of the ground, because it's circulating in a counterclockwise direction. And so that would indicate that it's the negative side.
So we can go there and experience this. And you said it's in Montana, near Glacier National Park. It's like a one of the mystery house kind of attractions.
Yeah, it's called Hungry Horse. It's called Hungry Horse, Montana, is the name of the little town.
What might we experience if we went to this location?
Well, one of the things that he demonstrates every day, which is just amazing, he has this 2x8 laying on the ground, and it's perfectly level. He's got a level right there if you want to check it. And people will stand on each end of that board, and one person will be smaller than the other. And if they switch places, their size changes. One time at the Oregon Vortex, I was there when they had a set of twins. And so it was really easy to see, the difference in the way that their whole body changed from one end of the board to the other. And it's just like only 10 feet long. But one end of the board, I think, is sitting on a demarcation line, which is kind of like a wave. You got a peak of the wave and the trough of the wave. And when the peak is above ground, then that's where you got a demarcation line. And that's where stuff happens.
The way, because your book, I mean, it notates, Sasquatch, of course, the shaman of the woods. Does the shaman of the woods travel through these portals? Is that the idea? How
I think they
Sasquatch?
do. I think they do. And what I mean by Sasquatch are the shaman, because
yeah.
they have.
Yeah. I picked up on that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, they have great metaphysical abilities. They can communicate and travel across dimensions. I presume. I don't know everything. A lot of this is just guesswork.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had one cloaked and run right by me and felt the pressure on my face change.
Cloaked?
So cloaked. Yeah, I couldn't see him.
Like
I could hear him. I could feel him.
So it was like invisible, like the translucent.
Yeah, I was hiking. Right, I was hiking along a trail, and I felt this huge presence on my left coming really quick, and I thought it was an elk because I'd done that before, scared spooked elk, and deer,
Yeah.
out of their beds right next to the trail. That's happened. And then we're both scared. But anyway, this thing came. He came from behind me, left behind my left shoulder, and ran right by me, and I could not see him.
Was it audible?
At
Like,
all.
was it something you could hear, like with your physical ears, or is this another?
Oh yeah, that's how I knew it was coming. I felt it, but I also heard it. And just expected to see an elk and didn't.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you hear something large moving up behind you, and you're hiking in that area where where you've said you've spooked up elk and deer before. That'd be your first expectations, and you turn around and there's just kind of nothing there. Is that what?
Yeah, I didn't turn around because I knew he ran in front of me. He ran kind of diagonally in front of me from left rear to right front. And then I heard something snap in the woods right above me, or right ahead of me to the right. And then it was done. I stood there for like a minute thinking, well, maybe he'll move again or something, but nothing happened. So I just went about my hike.
So but other than sounds, there was like no physical presence there. I mean, you couldn't, like, nothing. It wasn't interacting with the foliage or leaving footprints or anything like that.
Exactly. And that was what was weird, because he ran into some thick foliage is the way it seemed like to me, because it was very thick to the right and the front of me. But nothing moved. It was still as can be. I just heard that one crack, and that was it.
Okay. So are we thinking that, like, he became physical and stepped on a stick and then went back invisible or translucent, or I don't know how you would describe that, because he's
maybe
intangible too,
there was a stick up there that he hit just before he entered another dimension or something. I don't know.
So you think that when people see them, they go into these vortexes, and that's why you can't track them?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly right. That's my point. They have all kinds of tricks up their sleeve. I know people who have seen them disappear right in front of their eyes. So this is a thing. It's a very strange thing.
Well, I mean,
along with a lot of other things.
Go ahead, Genevieve.
No, I guess I wonder, before you jump to the clearly they're like traveling through dimensions and that's why they disappear, are there any other more practical or easier explanations for some of these things that you've been experiencing? I have other things to say about the vortexes and whatnot, but I think I'd just really like to get an answer about that really quickly.
Well, I don't know how else to explain what happened. I have a lot of interaction with them, and so I'm kind of used to these lessons, I guess you could say. They've demonstrated all kinds of things. The Mandela effect was demonstrated to me one time.
Well,
let's see some other things.
So far the evidence So we had you felt a presence run past you, and then you found some stuff that you felt was left for you on a trail. There are definitely more, like Genevieve was saying, more logical reasons, not necessarily connected to one another.
Of course.
Yeah.
But for independent,
and I understand that.
I also, and not to derail, but when you first mentioned the heart-shaped crystal the size of 2 fists that you stumbled upon, I just picture that there's like, I bet there's some geologist who was planning like a beautiful proposal to his girlfriend that day, and you might have just like screwed the pooch for him. But I do want to say, because you said that you've read the Golden Vortex 3 times, and I want, I know it's probably a little late now, but I want you to approach this with a lot of caution, because I looked into Nick Nelson and I went to his website and sort of saw what he was laying out about the evidence, and I even saw the pictures that you mentioned of the people with the boards and how they changed. But that's a really basic like tilt illusion. It's an optical illusion that you can demonstrate anywhere. What really concerns me though about Nick Nelson,
no, listen to me.
But really quickly, what concerns me is that Nick Nelson is selling really expensive like mini golden vortexes on his website. Like when I look at this, and when I look at what I understand about how these images aren't showing anything, or at least aren't showing anything that can't be easily and already is explained by basic optic illusions. It seems like he's sort of doing this to make money. I mean, I think that, it reminds me of, there was this big craze, I want to say maybe 20 years ago, about these magnetic bracelets that you could wear that would balance you. And there was, I think like Shaquille O'Neal bought into this. There was like all of this hoopla, and they ended up getting sued to shit because magnets don't actually do anything to help you. You can't sell something and claim physical benefits.
They can, but those people don't know that magnets have different phases, and you can change those aspects on a magnet, and he figured that out, and that's in his book. He talks about those phony magnet pads that don't do any good for anybody.
So the other magnets that are for sale are phonies, but his are totally legit, and you should absolutely buy them.
Well, it depends on how you create the aspects of the magnet. It can do good, and it can do bad. It can create awful swelling in your body if it's not electromagnetic fields are powerful.
Have you bought any of Nick Nelson's merchandise? Just any of these things that he's selling?
Actually, no. I didn't even know he was selling that stuff. I'm just aware of his book, and I've read his book 3 times.
It's funny, yeah, when I go to his website, I don't see anything about his book. I see everything about testimonials, about how what you can buy on his website totally works. I mean, no offense, I haven't read his book, but just from my perspective, it seems really grifty.
So do you think that you could sell mini vortexes, like that's something that could be done if Nick Nelson's saying that's what he's doing?
Yeah, I'd have to look into that. I have no idea what he's selling. Mini vortex. You can make a mini vortex. Just fill your sink with water and take the drain out and watch it go down the drain. You're creating a vortex.
Right. I mean, on his website, he's saying that. Oh gosh, what is this? Cured acid reflux and burping, general aches and pains, when he put it on his body. This is a testimony from a guy named Greg, who had said that the doctors said that he might not ever be able to walk again after he fell off a roof and fractured a vertebrae, but after applying a golden vortex over the break, he was walking in 3 months. Like that, I'm not a surgeon or a doctor, but I feel like if putting a mini golden vortex magnet that you can buy it right on Nick Nelson's website, If that actually cured broken spines, I mean, I think doctors would jump at this. I think that there's a lot of opportunities here for some of these claims to
Oh,
be
no, no,
proven
no, no. Doctors
objectively.
wouldn't jump on that. What, are you kidding me?
Oh, we're gonna.
I've had a lot of experience with talking to, like, for instance, Jeff Meldrum, who from Idaho State. He studies Sasquatch, and of course he's a complete reductionist. And I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people out here that are having very, very weird experiences, very strange experiences. And maybe scientists with, doctorates should listen instead of just poo-pooing everybody. So, I don't have I'm very, very skeptical of scientists when it comes to this kind of thing.
But if it's
generally
demonstrable,
speaking, like just a few years ago, I was a reductionist. I was an atheist. Didn't believe any of this stuff. If you told me if I listened to this podcast 10 years ago, I would have been rolling my eyes. So, I can understand that.
So, but if it's demonstrable, if you can demonstrate that these golden vortex that they work, that you're able to heal people with them. We have testimonials from people.
That board is demonstrable. They have a position where you take a picture, and it's at a 90-degree angle from the board. The board is level, just like I said, and then you switch to people on the board, and you take another picture, and you can visibly see that one end of the board, people seem to grow, and on the other, they seem to shrink.
Yeah,
that's demonstrable.
Those are the images I was referring to. Those are easy tilt-induced illusions. It's pretty easy.
They're not tilted though. See, I just told you that the camera position it's very well placed. They got a pad there where you stand, and it's at a 90-degree angle from the board itself, and the board is level. So how else could you do it?
I do have these pictures.
How could they make the illusion?
If anybody else wants to take a look and let me know what you think, I have them. I'll put those in the comments. But
yeah, so yeah, it's an interesting claim, and this is again, you said in the what was the name of the place again where this board was? It's near Glacier Park. You said Glacier.
Oh well, there's actually several places. But yeah, that's Montana Vortex. There's an Oregon Vortex. There's two more in California.
I want to
say there's one in South Dakota.
Similar to that, like the board thing. I saw that something similar to that at a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. I think in Springfield, Missouri.
Oh,
yeah.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was a vortex there, but
I don't know if it's a vortex, but yeah, it's this is what I mean. To the way they demonstrated is definitely saying that it's an optical illusion. It's Ripley, so they try to find the science behind it.
Yeah, I saw something similar when I was growing up at it was the Exploratorium, which is a great museum in San Francisco, California, where they've got a lot of really fun things just like this. Which is sort of where I see this. I'm like, oh, that reminds me of something that yes, I saw at this museum.
I think that's one of the vortex places, but I'm not sure. What's it called? Because there's one down there by the Bay Area. I know.
No, this is just a museum that's in the city. It used to be in the Palace of Fine Arts. Now it's on the pier. They've got the same demonstration, different place. It doesn't have to do with the location. It has everything to do with the perspective of the person viewing it, and how it relates to the surrounding areas.
Okay.
It's pretty fun stuff, but I would recommend looking into it. I know we have a lot of calls on the line. Are there any last thoughts that you or BrainBug have?
Well, just this. There are stranger things in heaven and on earth than are dreamt of in your philosophies. Shakespeare. You guys have a great evening.
Oh, you too. Thank you for calling us tonight. You take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So how was your first Bigfoot call? How do you think it went?
I think as soon as I found this guy's website, I sort of forgot all about Bigfoot and Sasquatch. It's like it seems like that was sort of like almost an afterthought. It's like, okay, I can believe that there's a giant furry animal that we haven't discovered, but as soon as we start talking about, oh, well, we just don't know him because he disappears in these different dimensions, like that's even more interesting than Sasquatch. I never thought that I would
Right.
say that.
And then we end up at one of those somehow at one of those mystery houses or mystery spots or whatever.
Yeah.
Was a strange path that we went down, but we really couldn't pin it down because it kept moving back to these different little examples when we were asking for more details.